Thanks for checking out my video. If you want to learn more from me, I have a lot of classes on Udemy. You can find the links to a lot of those in the description. So in the previous video, we talked about the use of doorways and your general area that you go when you go into meditation the for the activity of journeying. So journeying involves setting an intention of wanting to explore a certain situation in your life or a certain question about your existence or your life that you may have. And then you go into that first general area, whether it's a forest or a beach or what have you, and you go through a doorway and your visualization takes off from there. Of course, you have to have an intention. So you want to have a question that you're going to ask, like, why do I act a certain way? Why do I have these interactions with this certain coworker? Why do I have these interactions with a certain person in my life? Why am I like this? Why is my situation or my life like this? Or maybe I want to go and work with my inner child, or I want to go and work with this wound that I have from my childhood, or maybe last week or last year or something like that. You start off with this intention, and then you go into your general meditation area, whether it's a beach or a forest or what have you, and you're looking for a doorway. And you go through that doorway. And then you're seeking an answer to a question, and you let the visualizations guide you. So I can give you a couple of different examples of this kind of thing, but it is very personal. There's tons of different books that you can read on journeying and different explorations of your inner world or spirit realms, different things like that. So I'm going to leave that research kind of stuff up to you guys, but I can give you a couple of pointers and some inspiration with this. So like a childhood wound, right? Maybe you have a traumatic event that happened when you were a kid or a teenager or something like that, and you want to go and explore that. So you go into your general area, whether it's a beach or a forest or what have you, and you have this intention of wanting to go and explore this childhood wound. So you go into this doorway that you find, and then if it's a childhood wound or something, you are looking for that representation of you in that particular time period. So one thing I can think about for myself is I had some traumatic events when I was an infant, because I actually had like 15 surgeries because I had hydrocephalus caused by a cyst. It was right over here, and it actually gave me a coordination disability. So if I was to go and do that and explore that, which I have at least once or twice, then what am I looking for? I'm looking for an infant, right? I'm looking for someone that might be in one of those like hospital beds, that kind of thing. So that's what I'm looking for. Or if I wanted to go later on than that, I had to address a lot of stuff about like self-confidence and bullying and different things like that from my years in middle school. So when I would go into meditation, I'd go into my general area, which happened to be a forest, and then I looked for a doorway in like a cave, and then as I'm going through that, I'm setting my intention of looking for myself as a middle schooler. And then, it would open up into this other area. Sometimes it was what my actual school looked like. Sometimes the cave just continued, and I'm looking in all these different pathways and stuff, looking for a representation of me when I was in middle school with my cargo pants and hoodie and messed up hair and different things like that. So when you are looking for an answer, you're looking for symbolism, maybe someone from your past or your present even that you are going to talk to, and you're trying to find out answers. And particularly with like childhood wounds and stuff, I think I talked about this in a previous video, there's these things that are like soul contracts where you have a behavior or an event that happened to you that made you change in a certain way that no longer serves you. So like I was bullied a lot, right? So I have a lot of like self-criticism that I was dealing with. So when I went and I met my inner middle schooler, I guess you could say, I had to communicate with them about, you don't have to be so critical with yourself because you are good at the things that you are good at. You have to be more, patient with yourself and not worry about what other people talk and what other people say or what other people call you or what other people think, because those kinds of things, even though I'm not in middle school anymore, those kinds of different things still affect me at a subconscious level. So I had to communicate with this inner self that those things are no longer serving me, and it's okay to believe in yourself and be confident in yourself and not worry about what other people think and not to be critical. And this is where I just made a video on this so you can find it later on in the class. Cognitive dissonance comes in. So I have this belief where I don't have to be so self-critical, but the inner middle schooler in me believed that it had to be self-critical and, very hard on himself. So I had these two conflicting beliefs. And through the vehicle of the journey, I was able to dive deep into that situation and actually communicate with this inner middle schooler, which means my subconscious and whatnot, about you don't have to be so critical. So then I have these two beliefs of self-critical, don't have to be self-critical. And then when you address it, the more positive one wins. And this is also true with repeated journeys, repeated meditation. Maybe you have to go and explore something multiple times. Maybe communicate with different projections of different people in those situations. So somebody might have to talk to their inner child, then they might have to talk to a representation of their mother or their father or a sibling or something like that to address all these different angles around a situation that is affecting you negatively today. Now, this can go along with like soul retrieval and even just answering questions about yourself, or you can even journey to talk to an animal totem, a spirit guide, what have you. But the idea is when you go into that meditation, you set this intention that you are going to explore something or talk to a particular spirit or representation of yourself, some part of your subconscious. And it's up to you to kind of go on the hunt and look for this representation or fulfill this goal that you are looking to fulfill. And so you go into your general area, you find a doorway, and you let your visualizations and intentions take the lead, rather than saying, I know exactly what I'm looking for, and the room is going to look like this, and I'm going to have this conversation. I would highly suggest leaving that to the side until you get very experienced with what journeying is. I mean, you can journey into, like, let's say you had a dream that was really impactful and you wanted to continue that conversation you were having with someone with a dream. You can set the intention that you're going to go back into that space that you were in a dream, in a journey. So you general area, find a doorway, and then see where it goes. The biggest problem for me when I was learning how to visualize and meditate and journey and stuff like that is I had the cookie cutter kind of, this is what I want it to look like, this is where I'm going to go, this is what the room's going to look like, this is the conversation I'm going to have. And when you script stuff like that, that's your like higher mind, your logical mind that's trying to script it for you. And we don't want to script things because we're trying to get into the subconscious, which is more symbolism, emotion, flow, and just whatever comes up in there. If you are scripting everything with, this is what I'm going to do, this is what it's going to look like, this is the conversation I'm going to have, then you're in the higher mind, and that doesn't allow the subconscious to open up and express what's really in there, because you think you know everything that happened to you. You think you know what you need to do to figure it out and move on to the next step and heal this or heal that. That's all up here. And that could be your brain trying to trick yourself to protecting yourself because your brain doesn't like change. So you have to learn to let go. So this is why meditation and visualization, with allowing your brain to free itself up so it can express what's inside rather than us telling it what to express and what to say and what to do and what to show us, can be difficult to develop, which is why meditation on a regular basis and whatnot, with journaling and metacognition really, really helps to open this doorway up so we can successfully journey. So as you step into these journeys, you got to let go and just see and feel where it takes you. For those of us that have difficulty with visualization, you might just get sensations or emotions or feelings or words even. You might not even see or meet with anybody, but you might have different pictures that come up. The journeys may not run like a movie, right? My lady can't really visualize, but she gets impressions and different things. And, I can visualize and see things like a movie, like I'm watching a movie, and it just goes. And that's another thing to think about. You're not really directing the movie, you're a character in the movie, and the events are kind of happening around you. That's what I want you to think about with journeying. You are on a journey, you are not the director. You are a main character in the story, you are not the author. Okay? I'm hoping that this kind of stuff is making sense. You guys can always ask me questions and whatnot, and I can clarify and help you along your journey, no pun intended. But the idea is to just let it go and let it flow. And the more and more and more and more that you meditate and journal and practice with these different things, the deeper you're going to get. Thanks for watching my video. So if you want to check out my playlists, I have, among others, the Simon Necronomicon, the Tree of Life, General Magic, Tulpamancy, a playlist on my books, the elements, stones, the theories that govern magic, and the gods and goddesses of Mesopotamia. If you want to check out my books on Amazon, I have Creating Consciousness, Magical Mechanics, Magical Theater, Handy Sigil Magic, Magical Movement, which is an update and expansion upon Handy Sigil Magic, Magical Mastery, which is a combination masterwork of Magical Theater and Magical Mechanics, and The Guide to the Spheres and Beyond. You can also find me on Facebook at Magickology YT. You can email me at priestofthenecro@gmail.com, and you can even check out my Instagram, which is Magickology. And good hunting. You can also find me on Facebook at Magickology YT. You can email me at priestofthenecro@gmail.com, and you can even check out my Instagram, which is Magickology. And good hunting.